It's that time again.
Yep.
We are Team Wester.
And you are the most important thing to us.
Team Wester
Podcast. It's all about the team.
Welcome back to another edition of the Team Wester podcast. I'm Brad Gelber, joined by my co-host, Reid Ferguson, and we are once again at the 2024 Team Wester shoot, and we're joined by tight end extraordinaire, Dawson Knox. Dawson, thanks for joining us.
Hello, friends. Thanks for having me.
So, Reid, you want to take the first one here with Dawson?
So obviously we're here. We're up here for OTAs right now, kind of working out, practicing with the team. What we're in the off season, so to speak. What before we showed up in middle of April, what were some of the things that you did after the season to kind of stay busy, or did you just stay at home?
I try to travel a little bit. It's like the biggest period of off time we got. I went to Arizona for 2 weeks. My fiance and I went to Scottsdale for a wedding, Greg Mance's wedding,
Fantastic.
old teammate. We did Sedona for a few days. We went to Bryce Canyon, Grand Canyon. She had me hiking. That's probably the best cardio I did all off season.
Hiking or for pictures?
It was
like just like travel to see it, or are you okay?
It was a little bit of both. Those hikes were hard. I'm not a hiker, but she had me going.
I'll take your word for it.
We did like a 7-mile hike, like down the Grand Canyon and then back up. I was struggling. But we also did a Bahamas trip, the NFLPA Classic, little golf event.
You shot a
high score.
Okay, fair enough.
Which is not good in golf. But yeah, I did some golf and was in Nashville for the most part with the family.
Cool.
Yeah.
You mentioned fiance. Are you guys getting married before the season, or can you share anything on that?
I'm getting married next month, June 30th down in Nashville. Thank you.
Nice.
Thank you. We're very excited. It's been a long process. We're excited to get it going.
What's been the split on wedding planning duties?
I was gonna ask.
Hopefully it's not 100 to 0.
It's about 93-7 there.
Okay, that's
in her favor. Yeah,
respectable.
I'm invested as much as I can be. When she wants my opinion, I'll give it.
Okay, that's fair.
More times than not, it's not going to go my way. So I'm just kind of smile and nod.
Yes.
It's going to be like a cool surprise party.
Cool. Okay, nice.
But I had a lot of input on the food.
There you go.
A lot of input on the band. Kind of the two fun things.
The
food tastings were my favorite part. Yeah, that's my 7%. About 3.5 for each of those.
Cool.
Yeah,
very nice.
Great.
So I'm actually getting married this weekend, and I've talked to Dawson about this already, and I feel like I can speak maybe for you, maybe not, but I feel like even when you're not asked, if you don't give input, then it's like, well, you're not engaged in the wedding. But then if you do, it's like, well, I didn't ask. So
it's all about the middle ground, baby.
You gotta find
Welcome to marriage.
Yeah.
Oh, it's been great practice. Before we even started, it's been great practice. I can't just be like, oh, I don't care, you choose.
Yeah, right.
But if I give my opinion too strongly, that's just a wrong choice. Why would you want that fork? Like, okay, I'll let you roll with it.
So talking about the off season, one of the things I like to hit on with you guys is your kind of charitable or community involvement. So obviously you've been a big part of the Punt Foundation now for a few years, and you've told the story, I think, about since Lee Smith was involved with that and when you got to Buffalo. Any updates on some different activities or things you have going on with Punt? I know Knox Socks is obviously a big one that we've taken part at with Wester. Anything going on with Punt that's coming up here soon?
So we usually do a event in Nashville. We've done it 3 of the last years in a row, but this year it's not going to work out because of the wedding, unfortunately. But there's a big
move the wedding.
Yeah, should have done that. But there's a big gala. It's usually the first week of the season, so I think second week of September. Great fundraising opportunity for them, but I mean, Punt's as good as it gets. I don't know if there's a better organization to give your resources to. The way they deal with families that have kids with cancer every single day, it's such heavy work. And, I get to do some of the surface level stuff, go to the hospital, meet some families, see some kids. But the work they do is just absolutely unbelievable. So I try to be as involved as I can be. But in terms of big events, the next biggest one coming up is that gala.
And something too, I know for both of you being, professional athletes, being in the spotlight, I don't want to speak for you, but I think you've said it plenty of times. I think that's one of maybe the coolest part for you guys is having that impact on people you may not even know you have that impact on just from what you guys do for a living.
Right. I try to remember when I was a kid how I looked up to professional football players as if they were, might as well be Superman. Like anybody that put on an NFL jersey was automatically like, top of the top in terms of like me looking up to a hero. So I try to remember that when trying to use my platform in the right way. And I'm a firm believer that we're blessed so we can bless others. Sure. So any opportunity we have to give back to the community, bring a smile to someone's face that might be dealing with some hard stuff. I try to do as much of that as I can, but there's a ton of guys on the team that do a really good job with that.
So we had Josh on earlier, and we were talking to him about his kind of charitable stuff with with Oshai Children's Hospital. You've done some visits there, specialists kind of, with the Punt Foundation and stuff. We were talking to him about his 117 holes that he did. Do you foresee a
880 holes?
I was going to say 188. I don't know about 880. Do you foresee a possible 88 or 188 holes,
188
charity
no
event
chance.
for Punt Foundation?
8.8.
Yeah.
8.8 holes is more my speed. 8 holes. Yeah, I mean, I could definitely see something like that. That's a great idea.
Yeah,
could get
he said they
there.
raised, I think, like 750,000, something close
That's
to that
incredible.
number,
Holy cow.
just for the 117 holes. So
I could be out there for about half of it. I feel like.
Yeah.
I
He
know
said they
Josh
started
played a
about
good
5
bit of
a.m.
it.
and finished at night. So it sounds like
So impressive what they do.
188 would take.
I haven't even walked a full round before, so I'd be in trouble. I'd have to take like a day off before and a day off after. But that's a good idea.
Yeah.
88 holes for punt. I like that.
Plant the seed.
Maybe next year.
Plant the seed.
Love that.
There you
You
go.
gotta start licensing this stuff, Reed, before you give it out for free.
I know.
You
Appreciate
can
that.
clip that off the.
I'm gonna take that and run with it. So thank you.
Fair enough. You're welcome.
So one of the things too, Dawson, obviously this year we talked about with Josh and just in general is that there's a lot of new faces on the team, right? Because some guys left, some guys arrived. So just in the wide receiver room alone, Keon Coleman, new draft pick, Curtis Samuel, MVS. So I know you're not necessarily in the wide receiver room, but still part of the receiving core overall. So with you and Dalton, have you got to know the guys at all yet? Like, what are your thoughts on kind of this new look to the Bills offense that you have going in with some of the guys who have been here, like you, Josh, and those guys?
Yeah, it's been super exciting seeing those guys fly around. Lots of new faces in the locker room, specifically the receivers. There's some talent, man. Those guys are athletes. Curtis is awesome. I mean, they're all great dudes too. So it's fun getting to know them behind the scenes, not just what they do on the field, but kind of getting to know them in the locker room. Mac Hollins, he's barefoot everywhere, but he's a cool guy. Freak athlete. He's leading the Iron Bills games right now. But yeah, it's also fun. Like in the tight end room, everything's been so consistent. There's no new faces in there right now. So just seeing how the receivers have been working, how they've been catching on to the playbook. We've been doing a lot of new stuff too. So it's kind of been a learning experience for everybody. But the way those guys can run and catch the ball, it's been kind of fun just to watch from afar as well.
Yeah, and one thing you told me yesterday actually at the shoot, which I was thinking about last night, was just the fact that it kind of dawned on you that someone mentioned to you, aside from Josh and Dion, that you're the third longest active offensive player on the team. Does that kind of like hit you as just odd? Do you still feel like it was just yesterday that you got to Buffalo? And
100%. I mean, I vividly remember everything about rookie year. My head was spinning. Just trying to line up in the right formation, much less run the right route and do all the right stuff after that. But, yeah, I mean, it feels like it might as well have been last year. But to now know that, I'm the third longest tenured Bill on offense. Obviously, Reid, longest tenured Bill in the building.
There you go.
And I think, on defense, we got Milano and Taryn have been there longer than me. But it's kind of cool stepping into that leadership role too, kind of – realizing that you are one of the older guys now, especially in the tight end room. It's kind of been cool stepping into that leadership role, kind of just having more of an influence on guys and having that one-on-one connection has been awesome.
You talked about, you just touched on your leadership, stepping into a bigger leadership. I would say you've been a leader definitely since you've been here, but taking on kind of a more of a leadership approach to your game. You had a young guy in your room last year, Dalton. He's going into year 2 this year. Kind of talk to me about your relationship with him and how you guys complement each other on the field.
Yeah, I can't say enough good things about that dude. Everybody loves him. So down to earth. If you met him outside of football, you would never have any idea that he's like a superstar tight end. Just so humble, awesome sense of humor. We golf a bunch together. It's just fun hanging out with him, like off the field. Like there's a bunch of guys that are awesome that you might not necessarily hang out with all the time, but Dalton's one of those guys. So seeing him kind of mature through last season, take some incredible steps in his just football IQ. He was probably one of the best, most well-rounded rookies I've ever seen. I've learned things from him. But he really is just a stand-up guy that I could see myself being friends with for a long time.
It's, something else with the offense. Obviously, this offseason, Joe Brady went from kind of the interim tag to permanent offensive coordinator. Reid touched on it earlier, but it seems like that was a unanimous celebration within the team. So talk to us a little bit about Joe Brady and why you'd be excited that he's going to be sticking around.
Oh, I think everybody would have been very sad if Joe wasn't with us anymore. But he is awesome. Like he's just a player's coach. Like he has really like a cool personal connection with everybody, and that he really fosters the communication side a lot. Like he always has us in his office. He's always asking us what plays we like, asking us stuff that's confusing or things we might not really have a natural grasp of. And he does an awesome job with Josh too. Like, hey Josh, what do you see here? What do you like here? If the defense does this, like what's your first reaction? So I think he says it all the time. It's not a Joe Brady offense. It's a Josh Allen offense. So kind of giving Josh the reins, kind of catering towards him, and then building the offense around his skill set and what he likes. It's been awesome, but I can speak for the whole offense that we're super excited to have him.
And then in terms of positional coach, so Rob Boris back with tight end coach for you guys. You don't always get maybe the notoriety when you get into the positional coaches. So even, offensive line coach or wide receiver coach, like some of the guys, the coordinators clearly get kind of a little bit more of the spotlight. What's it been like working with him for his tenure with Buffalo? And is that a guy that you know him super well, but is a guy that you enjoy playing for? I doubt you're going to say no, but just tell us a little bit about that relationship there.
Rob Boris is incredible.
Yeah.
He's like a professor of football. He details everything out. Like he sends us 100 PowerPoint slides a night. Like there's no position group that's going to be more prepared than we are, and it's all because of him. Like coming from college, I barely knew what I was doing. Like I never scored a touchdown. I think I had 20 something catches my last year in college. Still beat LSU.
I wasn't there.
But
my brother was.
He was. Yeah. Sorry, Blake. But yeah, Rob is amazing. And he actually, he's a coach that actually cares about the guys off the field too. Like if I'm, dealing with something in my family, or he knows I'm struggling with something, like he'll reach out, he'll call you, make sure you're okay, checks in to make sure the off season's going well. And he genuinely cares for the guys outside of just football performance too. So it's so cool having a guy like that we know he has our backs through everything. And he's going to prepare us for anything that we might get thrown at us on the field. I mean, I attribute most of my success to him and the way he's coached me up. It's been awesome.
Being a guy that's been here for, you said going on, is it 7 years?
Going into six.
Yeah. When you first got here, we were still in a 16-game season. They've since added a 17th game.
Sure have.
Now there's a rumor that they're going to be talking about, taking away a preseason game, adding an 18th game with, potentially a second bye week. What are your thoughts? What are your initial thoughts on that?
They're always going to lean towards having us play more games, more TV contracts. Money is going to motivate a lot of people to have more games. But I think if you do it the right way, take away a preseason game, add a bye week. If you can incentivize the players, I think people can get behind it. But I mean, coming from college, like we hit week like 10 or 11 in that rookie season, and the rookie wall is real. Like you're like, wait, I got at least 6 more games, not to mention playoffs. And, you know, you don't see the sun much in Buffalo come November, December. So those days drag on and those weeks draw out. But, I mean, I think it's not going to be a huge change if they up it to 18, as long as they, you know, do the right things, add in a bye week, diminish preseason a little bit.
So one thing we asked Josh, and I want to ask you too, and Reid's obviously welcome to put his input, but just in terms of, you know, how do you guys balance with all these new faces and kind of shifting on the offense, defense too? We talked about this earlier, but we lost, you know, the Buffalo lost quite a few familiar faces and new guys coming in for new opportunities, but not starting out of the gate slow, right? Like not having to use the regular season as that ground to get to know each other and still win games. How do you balance that to make sure you guys still don't take a step back this year?
Yeah, I think that's why OTAs are so important. Like having most of the team here right now, getting 9 or 10 practices in before minicamp. We've been here since I guess April 13th?
Yeah, mid-April. Yep.
So just having those weeks to get under your belt, to learn the new style of offense we're playing, to have Bobby Babich coaching up the defense, get all the rookies in, having all the new free agents meet all the guys that have been there for forever. I think it's essential to the team chemistry, and that kind of keeps building through camp and the preseason. But I think the teams that communicate the best and know each other and trust each other are going to have the most success in the season. So just having the time on task now, there's nothing that can replace that. So I think it's huge.
Awesome. Well, I think we have a few more minutes here, Reid, so we're going to get into the fun movie trivia section here of the podcast.
Get your mind right.
So no pressure, but Josh Allen went 7 for 7. Now I will.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
Yes, but I will preface this with 2 of them he was a little stuck on, so we went back, and then he ended up in the end, maybe with a little help. I'd say
I threw him off on one.
He's like a human encyclopedia for his movie.
So we'll try, but don't feel the pressure.
After we were done recording, he said about 4 more quotes as he was walking out the door. So it's just
he'll say the most abstract
movie reel in his head.
Like he'll say the most abstract quote and be like, "What's it from?" I'm like, I have no idea. Yeah.
All right. Do you want to same thing as last time? Same one? All right. So the first one here, Dawson. Muhammad is the most commonly used name on earth. Read a book for once.
Dude, I don't know.
And no inkling at all.
The most quotable movie.
We can come back to it if you need to, but are we just like no hope at all with this?
Step Brothers?
Close.
No, we'll come back. We'll come back.
Yeah, I'm not going to
circle back around.
I'm not good with quotes. Like I've seen the movie, but we'll see.
You'll get
I have
somebody.
a feeling about this one.
Okay.
I'm very important. I have many leather-bound books, and my apartment smells of rich mahogany.
Oh, that's Anchorman.
Oh yeah. All right. So there we go. We got
Ron Burgundy.
Back on.
One for one.
Thank you.
This one I said to Josh.
First one was preseason.
This is one of my favorites, but we'll see. I didn't want salmon. I said it 4 times.
See, these are quotes I know I've heard. I didn't want salmon. I said it 4 times.
So you might have already gotten it accidentally earlier.
Step Brothers.
There you go. All right, so we got it.
I've probably seen that movie 6 times, but
I mean, it's a subtle one in the wedding in the beginning, but always makes me laugh. So.
Yeah.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
Dodgeball.
There you go.
There we go. All right, now we're on to number 5. Hey guys, you ready to let the dogs out?
Oh, Hangover.
There you go.
See,
Great
you're doing
film.
good. You're worried. You're doing
Alan.
We'll circle back to the first one. You're my boy, Blue.
Oh, Old School.
Yep.
Nice.
Dude,
Bingo.
see, he's worried about it, and he's killing it.
These are good. These are good.
5
These
for
are
5.
easy ones.
5
These are
for 5.
layups. Thank you.
Number 7 here. Josh got stuck on this one, but rule number 76, no excuses, play like a champion.
Gosh, if he got stuck on it, man.
So this is a movie where they reference different rules throughout, and that's one of the cleaner ones.
I can see it like on the screen right now.
Yep.
Rule number 76.
There's a large fellow that's one of the main guys, and then a blonde guy with an interesting nose who's the close. There you go.
Wedding Crashers.
There it is.
Okay.
So now it's back to number 1. I'll read it again. Muhammad is the most commonly used name on earth. Read a book for once. So it's a high school age comedy.
Oh, is it with McLovin?
It is, yes.
Oh God, what's
Oh,
that
it's
called?
right there.
It's right there,
right
dude.
on the
It's
tip
gonna
of your
drive me
tongue.
nuts. Oh,
It'd be super if you could get it.
super bad.
There it is.
Hey,
We got
seven
it.
Thanks for
All
the
right.
hints,
There
boys.
you
7
go.
for 7.
Yes.
Tell Josh.
Yes.
7 for
7 for
7.
7.
Win the
No
bucket.
Let 'em know.
Dawson, thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it. Reid, as always, thank you for co-hosting. We appreciate you guys watching another edition of the Team Wester podcast. We'll catch you soon.